Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful Saturday. Today I wanted to share with you 8 of my favorite crested geckos that I produced in 2022. As 2022's geckos are getting larger and 2023's will be on the way soon, I want to share with you some of my favorite ones that hatched out in 2022. And these are in no particular order, but without further ado, let's jump into our very first gecko, which is this beautiful, dark-based, kind of like white spot patterned gecko. This was a really unique gecko out of a lily white pairing, and actually it reminds me a lot of a different gecko I have, this one right here, named Murcielago. Not related, so it's kind of interesting how this one popped out with all kind of the white spots going on, and it continues to get darker and the white spots continue to get bigger. And as you can see, it's also looking male by the little bulge that it's getting, which is fine by me. I think it's really cool and I find it very pretty. And just kind of unique that it came from this pairing. None of the other geckos from this pair looked like this. But actually in the future, I have eggs incubating currently from that male I showed you just a minute ago and the same female that produced this. Because I figured if she can produce this, imagine what she can do when she's with a better male with more spots. So this guy's really cool. I really like this one. Even if it's male, normally I say I don't like him. This guy's really pretty and I really like the white spots and the dark base on this one. Next up, we have this beautiful lily white dark base, super crisp white, and this is a sibling to that one we just looked at a minute ago. So you got the lily version here, and I think this guy's really pretty too. He has very crisp white and a nice dark base as well. I really like when the lily whites have that nice crisp white and none of that yellow going on. Sometimes the yellow's kind of cool, but I prefer the white if possible. But he's got super clean white, nice dark base. And this was the first lily that hatched this year, so this guy's super cool. No bulge at the moment, but I pore sexed this one and I did see a couple little pores I thought starting, so this one might be male as well, but that's okay. This guy is super pretty and one of my favorite lily whites from this year. One of the hardest things for me has been trying to pick out which extreme harlequins are going to stay and which ones are going to go. As I've said in many other videos, I'm really downsizing on my extreme harlequin stuff, or more so just stuff that I don't think is going to pair well with red-based geckos. This one might be okay, so this one might stay. It depends if it's male or female, but it's really got some nice cream on it, nice dark base, and just overall a very nice extreme harlequin. So if it's male, it might go. If it's female, it might stay, but I've been really selective, or I'm going to be really selective on which are going to stay. I would really only like to keep 1 or 2 maybe, so a lot of them are going to have to go, and unfortunately this could end up being one of them, but it was also one of my favorite ones to watch this year grow up just because of all that cream and the great color that it has. This is another kind of creamy extreme harlequin that I've really liked watching grow and develop. It's got some of that cream coming up towards the crests, and actually the crests by the neck area are so long that they bunch up depending on how the gecko is sitting. And it's just got that cool dark base with that nice cream on the sides. Not as much pattern, but just that super thick kind of creamy pattern on the sides with the dark base. And it's got some little white spots too. And so it's really hard to see geckos like this and then sell them. But unfortunately, when you're trying to cut down on projects and focus more on one thing, sometimes that's what you got to do. But this one's really cool as well, and I really like this one. It's a toss-up between this one and the last one, which I like more. They're both good in their own ways. This one's a little bit darker and a little bit more crisp, I feel like, but the other one has a little bit more pattern. But nonetheless, this has been one of my favorite ones to watch grow and develop. And there is something to be said about watching extreme harlequins get more pattern and really adjust into their colors. Something you don't really get with like red phantoms too much is they don't have any pattern, so it doesn't really spread at all. But this one's very pretty. I like this one a lot. This one may or may not stay. We'll have to see. But for now, it's been a very enjoyable one to watch grow and develop. Now, who would I be if I didn't show you a couple of reds? Now we're going to take a look at a couple of red phantoms. So here's one that's pretty nice and growing. This one's got some nice little white spots coming in. A little bit of a bulge though, so probably going to be male. But that's okay. I'm actually looking for another red phantom male at the moment. One from my collection, that is, to keep. So maybe this guy will be up on the list. There's quite a few red phantoms that I have to go through, but this one caught me as kind of interesting just because of the number of little white spots on his side, and some of them are reaching up fairly high. So this is one of the ones that hatched this year that I think could really turn out nice. These white spots tend to get bigger and bigger as they grow larger, so these could end up being pretty nice when he's an adult size. I want to say this one's around 10 to 12 grams right now, so he's still got quite a ways to go, but this one's pretty cool and I've really liked watching this one as well. Our next red phantom here I like for a different reason. As you can see, it's got some super thick white pinstriping going on. And this one's a little bit unique because normally that starts at the base of the tail. And you can see on this one, it's actually completely broken. So there's no little white pinstriping going on, and then it starts up a little bit further on the dorsal, which I think is really cool. And unfortunately, they lose this a lot of times, or it gets a little bit less pronounced. But I'm hoping that this one keeps some of that white patterning as it gets older, and maybe fingers crossed it would actually get thicker instead of disappearing as much. But I think this one's really cool. I have to knock it a little bit though, because there is a spot on the side that you can't see. There's one Dalmatian spot, and I think that happened because one of my original female red breeders has a spot on her tail. And so I think that one spot is just carrying down the line here. This one relates back to that female. So it's just like a curse that's never ending. Now this red phantom here doesn't have anything that's particularly unusual or particularly cool about it. It's just a nice red phantom, and I like watching these grow up as well. This one is just, pretty average. There's no white spots. It's kind of like what people used to call like a bicolor. You can see that the dorsal is a lot more like kind of browny orange than the sides, which are a little bit more red. Again, this one's still pretty young, so I'm thinking it'll get a little bit brighter. But it's just a nice red phantom, and this is what I really shoot for. You can see it's got some good color starting to come in, pretty decent head structure, little pinstriping going up on the tail there near the base of the tail. So just an average, nice red phantom. There's nothing wrong with that. I always like watching these grow up as well. Just a nice red phantom all around. And last but not least, my favorite red phantom from this year so far. This one has very pronounced pinstripe scales, a little bit of white going up them. A little bit of quadding almost going on the sides, or at least some like grouped white spots. I think this one's going to be really nice. I don't think it's going to be super bright red, but this is exactly what I'm looking for and going forward in my red phantom projects. That really strong pinstriping. Not so much the white spots on the sides, but I like those as well too. So this one's very nice. I really like this one, and I'm hoping that white that starts near the base of the tail doesn't disappear as it gets older. Like I said before, it usually does, but fingers crossed it doesn't on this one. Anyway, that's going to do it for my 2022 holdbacks. These are just some of my favorites. Of course, it's hard to pick when you have, 90 plus little babies, but I think these are some of my favorite ones from this year. Quite a few of them are still small, but with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next one.